Well, we're so fortunate to have such great members of the press here. So I'm so curious what you're following right now. Kind of those sort of sleeper issues, some of those propositions, the questions that are coming up on the ballot. Let's just talk about this for just a minute. Heidi, let's start with you.
On I-15, there's billboards that say vote number 1. I don't know if anyone knows what vote number 1 is, but I have heard moms, dads, soccer moms and dads talking constantly about we need smaller class sizes. I'm sick of year round. Our schools need more money, and it's all year round, all year round. We finally have an opportunity to do something about that, but it's a gas tax. So the big question is, are we going to be willing to pay another 10 cents, $1 for filling up our Suburban to fulfill the wishes that we're always complaining about? So we're willing to complain. Will we put our gas money where our mouth is? And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't even know if people know what vote number 1 is when they see those billboards.
It's very important. A non-binding question. The legislature is asking us, right?
Yeah.
Would we be willing to raise
Which is
our
nice of
tax?
them to ask, right?
And it's got a lot of high-powered political support because this was the devil's bargain that was made with Our Schools Now at the end of the legislative session. But tax questions are always tough with voters because everybody says, oh, I want the kids to get all the money in the world and I believe the children are the future. But then when you say, great, you're willing to raise your own taxes to do this, you get the shy voter in the privacy of the ballot going, nah. I don't know. So it's going to be a close one, I think.
It is. We're certainly seeing a lot of media. There are commercials, billboards, as you mentioned.
If we could just make it a lottery instead of spending the money on our gas, our kids would be so well fed and taken care of. I mean, we're driving those dollars to Idaho and Wyoming every time it gets big. So I don't know. Gas tax, lottery.
You've come up with an alternative plan there, Heidi.
I'll talk to the
Next initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben.
I think that Proposition 3 is kind of a stealth campaign, which is very surprising given the high-level political battles that took place years ago, which again led to a ballot initiative, which is Medicaid expansion. Strangely enough, we are not seeing a full-throated opposition campaign to it, which you would kind of expect for an issue like full Medicaid expansion. It appears that the pro-Prop 3 groups that support this, I mean, they're thanking their lucky stars because they can run a stealth campaign and it might just pass, and that's just because there's an absence of opponents.
It's interesting when we're watching very closely, particularly considering how contentious this was in our past legislative
These were
sessions.
knockdown, drag-em-out fights between the legislature and the governor and activist groups and everybody, and now it's crickets.
Opposition ads would be tough on that issue to run without looking like the bad guys might be part of the problem. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what happens with that one, but you're right, it's a great one. Man.
You know, I'm looking at the domino effect from Prop 2 and the medical marijuana. How does that affect other races? I think the two things that we might want to look at, and when the Salt Lake Tribune and the Hinckley Institute gets our next poll out, which will be very soon, is does medical marijuana support in the districts change what happens in, say, the Love McAdams race, or even in the 2nd district between Representative Chris Stewart and Shireen Ghorbani? That race in a recent poll was 11 points difference. Now, that's still a huge margin, but much closer than we would originally anticipate. So both how does medical marijuana impact these races, and how does support for Donald Trump impact these races? I think those are two things I'm going to be looking for in coming days.
Yeah, for those of us that watch the political process, it'll be so interesting to see who does turn out to vote.
Right.
Because different kinds of people may be showing up for these issues you all talked about today. Very insightful. Thank you very much.
I think Shireen Ghorbani is